Hello, and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast, episode 38. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. It's been a week.
Yep.
So, we're back with another episode.
Yes, we are.
This week, we're going to talk about collecting in downturn markets. But before we do that, we want to talk about our Patreon, where you can join us on Discord and just pay $1 and join us for games and for discussion. All the things that we talk about on the podcast are mainly things that we've probably already touched on in the Discord conversations.
Almost exclusively. I feel like our Discord is definitely our inspiration for the podcast.
Absolutely. So we would love to have you. Link is in the description. And if you don't feel like joining it, that's okay too. You can always just subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things. And yeah. So, how was your week? What did you do? You opened a bunch of stuff in the mail.
I did. I got mail. I'm super sad, guys. I apologize now because I recorded an entire mail day episode. I had a bunch of mail all show up at the same time. It was all pretty spicy stuff I was excited about. Wanted to share with everyone, talk about the market. I even did all right, now that we're done with the video part, just relax. Let's talk a little bit, and talked about the economic situation, and got about to the end, and I went to stop the recording, and I hadn't hit record.
Oh no.
I got all the way to the end before I realized that I never had.
That's so sad.
Yeah, that was really, I sat there for a good 10 minutes at my desk, what do I even do now? Do I just try to do it again without opening the mail on the camera? Everything was set up. I just didn't hit the button. It was I was just screw it.
That's so sad.
Sorry. Missed a potential mail day economic talk one. Maybe I'll do something else. I got a couple things I could open. I almost did that as a result. I almost opened one of these boxes. I got a Everfest box and a Tales of Aria box. So I almost cracked that on camera, but I'm like, what am I going to do with these cards? There's 0 cards in here that I want. I'll just have another pile of cards on my desk that I like.
We should crack the Tales of Aria on September 30th.
Why? What's that?
It's our 1-year anniversary. It's the first video that we put up.
Oh, we could give it away.
Which was opening Tales.
I will be happy to give it away. I have nothing to do with the cards, which is why I don't want to open it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll open it and give it away as our 1-year celebration thing.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Heck, I'll give away Tales and Everfest.
Yeah, so we can open it up live and then give it away on the stream.
Sounds good.
Cool. I ordered a Teklo Foundry Heart because I'm going to become a Dash main.
Called it.
John was like, you should try Dash. And I was like, meh, for a while. And then I finally did it. And it's real fun.
Yeah, especially the current meta version of her.
It's consistent. It's Briar, but consistent. Not as strong as Briar can be when she high rolls.
Yeah, but when you get the combo into the, what's that, 10 swinger or whatever, that can only be done after 3 boosts or whatnot, whatever that one's called. Yeah.
But
gross.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to be doing that. Maybe we do some gameplay. I'll be playing Dash in the next one.
Sounds good. I'll be happy to try to freeze her out, see if I can.
Mm-hmm. And then we played some things this week. I went to draft. They didn't have enough Uprising boosters to do a draft. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Well, let's talk about that in the main topic because that kind of ties into the whole thing.
Okay. So we ended up drafting Welcome to Wraith, and we had a 9-person pod, and I forced Bravo when I shouldn't because there ended up being 4 Bravos. And let's just say it did not go well.
Did not work out.
First round was against the one and only Reinar of the pod. Second round was against, I think, one of the only or one of 2 Katsus. And then the third was Amir.
Did Katsu take it or who took it?
I don't know. I didn't stick around. I left. I was so tired. Well, I mean, I was the 9 of the top 8. So I wasn't getting a promo or anything. So I wasn't sticking around.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
So there's no reason.
I've
and I was tired.
I've been there. Yep,
yeah.
For sure.
I was tired. I was like, all right, well, I'm out. See you guys next week.
Did any of the Bravos make it?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. There were a couple of Bravos that went 2-1.
Okay,
I think
so
at least one
probably one of them made it. Yeah.
But it was fun. I still had fun. Someone pulled a Tunic. which was cool.
Wait, like for real? Like an old school rainbow foil tunic?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a tunic pulled.
Yeah. In a draft. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Guy was right across from me.
That's crazy. You missed it.
It was super
Grabbed
cool.
the wrong packs.
It's okay. You can't think that way.
That's true. Plus, I mean, you have a tunic, so who cares?
Right. Exactly. And this was a person who did not have a tunic, so it was very exciting.
All the more rewarding, yeah.
Right.
I
Absolutely.
would love that way every time. Every time someone that doesn't have a tunic.
That's because that's such a huge piece. That's such a huge barrier to entry to the game is having a tunic.
Totally,
and then you have one that opens up so many possibilities. So it's just awesome.
You have your tunic. Yep,
Yeah.
That's goodness.
Yeah. Then I've been playing a lot of Magic Arena.
Yep.
Which has been fun. I've been playing both an aggressive mono black and a control mono black because those are really the only two decks in the meta.
So you love Dominaria United?
It's super fun.
Yeah.
It uses cards from Midnight Hunt and Kamigawa. And Crimson Vow. Like it uses cards from all the sets because it's standard.
And Kamigawa was pretty good stuff too, huh?
Yeah, there's a vehicle that is just nuts.
Yeah.
It helps you draw. It's a draw engine. And then on top of that, rewards you for a treasure if you draw 3 times. And then also is a vehicle that can crew 3 become a 4/4. And a constitute.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's really good.
Mr. Kamigawa. Should have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good cards. I've been thinking about picking up some of the older draft boxes to experiment with.
Still cheap, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the new hotness Dominaria, even though Dominaria is like at 90, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And then what else did I do? You played some Talishar Online.
Oh yeah. So I haven't been able to get to shops just my life has gotten nuts. Lots of at night events, lots of other stuff going on. So the way to get my fix and kind of keep on training, I suppose, I've been doing the Talishar Online, previously known as Fab Online.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing a lot of Icelander and realized I am just not good enough. Like, she's hard to do well, and I just don't have what it takes. So I bailed on that and switched over to Oldhim, and I'm having a blast with Oldhim.
Nice.
If I don't win it, I get real close to winning it, almost universally.
That's awesome.
So
you never get blown out.
Yeah, no, yeah. Whereas like with Icelander, I definitely had more than one time where I was just blown out, and I'm like, I don't know what I did wrong, but I clearly did it all wrong.
Right.
Like that's rough because you don't know what to do to correct, right?
Sure.
So, and she's tough. Like you got to have a game plan that thinks way further ahead than I am capable of. So, Oldhim seems to be a nice balance. He's more aggro-y, so he's not the boring Oldhim that I didn't like the first time I tried him.
Yeah, block, hammer, block, hammer.
Yeah,
block,
it's not that anymore. I mean, you do that, but that's kind of like the fallback plan or the setting up plan. Mm-hmm. It's not the every turn situation. It benefits you to be a little bit more aggressive with him. Now, tricks that I don't know, stacking, like stacking seems to be very important for those harder games, so that at that back turn of the deck, you can come out with the real powerhouse.
Yeah.
Not very good at that. And then the defensive stuff I'm getting better at. That was my weak spot in the beginning, but like knowing when to use the crown and when to use the shield and things like that. It always felt like I shouldn't use it, and then I started trying to use it a lot, and I think I'm finding the balance there. I'm better at it, put it that way. It's come in handy more than once where I'm like, oh, that was the move. That was right. So
right.
I like it. I'm having fun with it, learning it a little bit. And I'm also playing Valda. She's a lot of fun. I'm like super enamored with Valda. I really hope they make an adult out of her.
Yeah.
Because I would absolutely play that.
It's super interesting gameplay.
Yeah, it's just a totally different way to play Guardian, and I would play the hell out of it.
It's like volleyball.
Yeah, it's so fun. Yeah, exactly. It's try to keep the surges up.
Keep the ball in the air.
The game.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the game. Swing while keeping surges going.
Yeah.
Really tricky thing to do, but if you get good at it, it's a powerhouse.
Absolutely. So, you want to jump into the main topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we are discussing how to navigate this bear market in the collectible world.
It's crazy. Everything's down. Everything's quiet. You want to hear a number you're gonna love?
Yeah.
Dominaria United Collector Booster Display, $200 right now.
Oh,
Yep, all the way down to 200. That is crazy.
isn't that below distributor cost?
I think it might be. If it isn't, it's real close. It's getting there. So,
And
yep.
it's week 2?
Yeah, this is why I was like, yeah, you might wait. You might wait. You're not gonna miss anything by waiting. You're
Yeah.
like, I might pick this up. I'm like,
Yeah.
just hang on. At the
Yeah.
speed it's dropping, you might get a better deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was yesterday?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
That was not
yeah.
long ago. Yeah. So at this rate, I would not be shocked if we saw a final capitulation into like the 170 range.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it will stay there long because there's just too much juice in them. But
Yeah.
but I think you might get a chance to steal a box or two at that price. So craziness, really crazy. Yeah. So there's some nutty stuff happening in the Magic
But
world.
so what's going to happen with Brothers War when that comes out?
The way everyone's talking about it, it's dead on arrival.
Yeah.
And that could just be a matter of people already expecting it to be dead on arrival without knowing what's in there. But I don't know. I mean, what more could they do than what they did with Dominaria United, loading it up with these old cards? Now, granted, they didn't seem to have done it in a way that made it really super desirable.
Right.
Because I have yet to see a single valuable card pulled, and I've watched a lot of box openings, so I could be wrong. Drop a link below if you've seen one where someone pulled something really spicy out of one of these things. But so far, all I'm seeing is like $3 cards at most.
Yikes.
So not really adding to the the lottery ticket at all. So that's one thing that's probably making these prices deflate. And then the actual cards themselves, they're actually a fairly good distribution of like value cards, like the Phyrexians, the Lilianas, etc. So that part's the only thing holding it together. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's enough. And they probably printed a lot too, just because they were in their hype mode about what all they were doing.
Well, sure.
They had to decide 6+ months ago, how many
Sure.
to print.
And that was what, like Kamigawa time?
It was definitely when things were better markets.
Yeah.
So yeah. Your set boxes are holding up at 120 though. They aren't moving like at all.
No. Well, I heard that they're just not as easily found right now in the US.
Huh.
Like there just aren't as many of them.
Well, there's 51 listed on TCG Player, so they're definitely.
No, but like if you go to local stores, you don't have as many.
Well, you think the stores just didn't order as many because the prices?
Possibly, because I mean, this is the first set of Magic increasing like 10 to 12%.
Yeah.
So
could just.
I think the market's just rejecting this new price.
Well, and here's the thing: the reality of it is
It's like you can say there's a new price, and you can pass that on to the stores, but the customers are obviously speaking that no.
Yeah, well, and they couldn't have picked a worse time to execute on this. They should have done it 6 months ago instead of now, when markets were still somewhat held up by, I guess, stimulus money or whatever else was holding things up then. We're hitting such a negative economic situation that I guess everyone's just kind of being careful about their spending.
Right.
And understandable, especially if your financial situation is not stable. Cardboard's not the way to go.
No.
Not financial advice, but definitely not gonna get you out of trouble. So don't use it as a gamble that way.
No.
But that said, it is kind of the best frickin' time to buy anything in cardboard. Everything is dirt frickin' cheap. Everything. So before we jump into that, let's talk about Fab a little bit. There's some weird stuff happening there. 2.0.
Yes.
I think they did it because Magic's getting its butt kicked. Everything else is basically getting its butt kicked. even Pokemon apparently is having some issues, although their prices seem to be holding in the sealed product space. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Flesh and Blood still stable at map, obviously, because it's required. But the Marvel cards are going up. Um, and you were at draft, and they didn't have any more boxes.
Right.
Are we done with Uprising? Is there
We
no more?
can't be. Don't fearmonger this. It can't be. I'll
It's
be
not
so
a fear-monger
sad.
thing. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I heard it before you told me that. I heard it on other podcasters that have access to distribution, and they're like, "Yeah, there might not be many waves or any waves left."
That's not okay.
I was like, "Wait, what?" Because I was like, "Nah, they're just BSing to like sell bags, right?" Like I immediately assumed they were lying, and then literally like the next day, you're like, "Yeah, we had to do WTR because they didn't have any UPR." I was like, "Wait, it's real?" So from a pricing standpoint, collectability standpoint, they hit it right. From a gameplay standpoint, this will help drain some of the excess WTR, I guess.
Yeah, true.
All the
That's
drafting
true.
goes back to WTR. I don't know. This is
Yeah, because
wild.
yeah, I don't want to draft Monarch. I'll draft Tails. I'll draft
There's plenty of
WTR.
that in the market too.
Yeah.
You got Tails Unlimited. You got WTR. Arcane Rising's slowly running out, so I doubt you'll see that
I don't
much.
see that in stores. I don't see it.
Yeah. And I guess you can't draft Everfest or any of that stuff. So.
Exactly, Crucible. That's the downside of only having one. But for real, like, what were they? They had to have known that, like,
Maybe they overdid it the other way, like they severely underprinted
right.
accidentally. Like, remember, this is 2.0 is the first time they did it, right? So they're going to make mistakes. Maybe that was the mistake this time. They went too shallow, and the game continued to grow faster. And they're like, we don't know our numbers because Monarch was a lie.
Right. Well, could they?
You know?
Could they do it? Could they just put it back in print?
I think so. From my understanding of 2.0, there is literally nothing preventing them from just firing it back up and putting another wave out. So it is possible. The thing that makes it hard to imagine is just print queues, right? Like you have to order that stuff months and months in advance, and by the time it gets done, we'll be well into the next set. We'll probably be into the next draft set by that time, right? If it's a 6-month delay.
Yeah.
So that would be a terrible time for that to hit market.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how printers work. I don't have any insights into that.
That'd be really sad.
Yeah. But this may be a situation where UPR is just severely underprinted. Maybe distribution's holding on to a bunch of it, because they do that to a degree.
That's true.
I think someone was explaining, like, if your new store signs up, they want to have it there so that they can order it.
Right.
So they'll hold on to some of it just to keep it in stock so it's available, but not release it to the general like stores that they have relationships with and stuff. So
right.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but it is kind of wild. Boxes are still bottom priced right now, though. So
true. Yeah.
While shops may not be able to get it, it's still out in the market. So it's not like dry everywhere.
No.
Our shop is just particularly ravenous.
Yeah, I mean, you could also have shops that aren't running events.
True. Yeah, true.
And so they're not going through their boxes through drafts.
Yeah.
It's like when you have like 12, 13 people show up and do a draft every other week. That's some boxes.
Yeah, that's true. It does burn them. It's crazy. Like looking at the Marvel Dragons, they're at that 200 plus price point. Dominia was literally sold out for like over 24 hours. There's now 5 listings. She's listed at 273. That's craziness.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I figured the Marvel ones would, but or the majestic ones, but I don't know. I'm surprised how low still the rare ones are, or are they just that much more common?
They are that much more common, but they're reaching 40s. Like they're not 20 anymore.
Oh, that's true.
They doubled in price too. It's a much lower number.
Right.
It always was, right? So yeah, they're they're getting up there too. The Icelander's now 250. I don't think that ever dipped below 100, or if it did, it was barely.
Yeah, I believe that.
It was rare though. So there's only 2 listings. I don't know that there's that many more in the market. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was rarer to find than
And the Starvo one.
Majestic Dragons. Oh yeah, and the Starvo for sure.
Because that's kind of what this one is.
It is, yeah. It's the same sort of thing. Now, the legendaries are all reasonably priced. Like $30 for a legendary Rainbow.
The Starvo was up at 250 for a while, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that was just a hype monster.
Yeah.
I don't think that was ever legitimate. Cold foils are still listed high, so I think they hit the right ratio. I think they got it right, especially considering how downturned the market is across so many things.
Yeah, that the playables are at a playable price and the collectibles are at a collectible price.
Yeah, I think they got the right formula. Now let's just make sure that there's enough to get us through our draft season.
Yeah.
It's only once every year.
But to be fair, like, our shop's already feeling pretty burned out on Draft and Uprising.
Well, and maybe that's the trick, right? Like, maybe you do a second wave, but you do it a year out so that it feels good to go back to it.
That's what Magic's doing with Kamigawa right now.
Or they did another wave of stuff.
Yeah. They were like, throwback to Kamigawa, and all the stores are like, this was literally like 2 sets ago.
Yeah, I was just saying.
What do you mean we're throwing? What? I still have it on my shelves. Here's some more Kamigawa. But I guess it was basically to also get more Kamigawa collector boxes out there.
Did they actually get some more out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, I think it's lower now.
Drop it all? Because I'm going to pick up some more of that.
Yeah, those are cool. I mean, it's a cool set.
I was totally into it.
I'm
a big fan.
And now that I'm playing with some of the cards, it's nice. It's fun.
So yeah, how to navigate this. If you're financially sound, they're at 205. Ooh, that is tempting. That is really tempting. So I guess I'll talk about what I've been doing, and we can talk about some of the philosophy and theory around it. But I've been buying, and I mentioned this a while ago, that I've been aggressively upping my purchasing every week to get to grab more and more stuff at dirt cheap prices. I am mostly sticking with old Magic, Alpha Beta. Not even unlimited, just Alpha Beta. It's very affordable. A lot of the prices on that stuff, raw, have come down. Graded still at a premium, but I don't really like graded that much. I did pick up a few graded things that were just like, childhood memories that I want to put on my shelf. But the raws ABU in like near mint and light played form are like quite affordable across the board. So I've been picking that up pretty aggressively, picking up cold foils for the older sets, such as the Heart of Ice, because I think Oldham's part of the meta. Heart of Ice is really solid piece of equipment. It's
just for like, and down the line, any ice hero.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a good card. Like, it is good armor. So it will come back. It will be used again. And there's a bunch of them right now that are just dropping off. Now, I will say you got to be careful and kind of metacognizant. And I think this is one of the struggles with Flesh and Blood and trying to be a collector in it, is that, okay, so Luminaris used to be 250 cold foil, right? Now it's under 100. But is that a good deal considering it's completely illegal now?
Yeah. Will it drop lower in a player's market?
That's even not even considering it as a collectible. It's a Monarch collectible, so there's already some stink on it from that. But it's Living Legend. It went out with Prism because it was her weapon. So even if a new light, illusionist came out, they couldn't use it. So
but at the same time, we get one more hero into Living Legend, and we have a Living Legend format.
That's kind of the bet I made. Not to mention, it's
these cards aren't that. No, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes in Flesh and Blood. I think the Living Legend format is going to be like a format that people play.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I think it's going to actually be pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. And so then,
card. Like I think standard is going to be how Fab.
Living Legend is a temporary feel bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's part of why I bought mine.
It's going to be like
and
standard and
I've
modern.
wanted it for a long time. I've wanted it for a long, long time, and I held off. I had such good discipline. I'm so proud of myself because I almost bought it like 400 times. I'm like, I can't do it. This is ridiculously priced. I don't need to do this. It's only because Prism's super popular, and sure enough, the prices come down way,
Yeah.
way down. Seems to be holding at 100 though, 99. So it's been at least a week since I bought mine. So, and it's still at the same price. So this might be its floor. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, picking up old school legendaries, cold foils, majestics, cold foils. Anything I can get that's dropped in price because a bunch of it has dropped in price. And then especially things that have utility. Like obviously, I don't really care about the merchant gloves so much. I'm not picking up spare copies of those, even though I'm sure they're cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my approach. And then I've upped the rate of purchases. I've also picked up a bunch of sealed stuff on Magic side, older Magic stuff. Some of the sets that are like going back to Throne of Eldraine period, basically between then and now, that have rotated out or out of print, etc. They're low because their quantity was high. They never really got sold out. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they were in market and market dropped, and people are trying to afford these new fancy Warhammer Commander decks for their shop or whatever, right?
Yep.
So I've been picking up those for pretty much retail price at the times. They're like $90 for a lot of that stuff. It's crazy. Some of it just over 100 with shipping. Very reasonable for sealed product. And that's why I had to buy a new shelf today. I'm out of room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to navigate this, you got to know the games a little bit. You got to know the meta. You got to realize there's blood in the streets, and
Oh,
it will
absolutely.
probably be that way for a while. And this is the best times to buy. Not financial advice, but tends to be. I mean,
Right.
Crown of Seeds is $70.
I know.
Crazy.
The rainbow foil?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I believe
the
it.
cold foils. I already had the cold foil.
Yeah.
That for a while. Ooh, cold foil's way down there too.
What's the cold foil at?
It says 90 in the chart. Let me see if I can find an actual listing. 76
for cold foil crown?
For first edition cold foil Crown of Seeds. Yeah, this
Wow.
inverted. It looks like by the chart, the cold foils are worth less than the unlimited based on the chart. Now that chart is always buggy, so I don't trust it.
That's too funny.
But that's wild. And I kind of believe it because there's 26 cold foils on the market and only 17 rainbow foils. That's
because
wild.
Tales Unlimited is a lie. It never came out.
Basically. Yeah. That's wild. So, yeah, I mean, there's still the critical ones like your New Horizons and stuff are holding massive value because that's just true.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of good deals out there for stuff that got cheaper. Worth picking up.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I pulled the trigger on the Foundry Heart. So it's just like, you know what? It's not that bad. I'll grab it. Looked at the cold foil, said nope, and then went to the rainbow foil.
Oh, yeah. Any of the first three sets, like cold foils, are just absurd.
But anything else you wanted to talk on? That I had, what was it? There was another thing that we had discussed in regards to dealing with this. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Got me.
I don't know. But, okay, so is there anything else you wanted to talk on this before we move on?
We can move on.
Okay.
It's a fun market.
Yeah.
If you got the money, not financial advice, but pick up stuff that you've wanted. That's what I'm doing. You will probably make more money during these times than any other time. That's just typically... Oh, there is one other thing I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
These goddamn Warhammer 40k decks.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, there's definitely one more thing I wanted to talk about, but
it's a bit of a side topic, but it's a topic. So apparently the non-collectors, there's a bazillion of them, right? They didn't even allocate them. So you can just get as many as you want. Doesn't matter. The collectors are strictly allocated down to like a case for shops.
Yeah.
So if you want that, there's not going to be many of them. They'll probably sell out immediately, and they'll probably be hard to come by. But they are $700 for a stupid set of 4 commander decks. That
They're not $700, John.
What do you mean?
They're $540.
Oh, on Amazon?
Go to Jeffy B.
Jeffy B.
When you want Amazon.
I just look at TCG Player.
Yeah.
You're right. They're $541.
TCG Player's a lie.
Wait. Yeah. No. Amazon's a lie. Because guess what happened last time this was such a big divergence in price?
What?
Do you remember?
No.
I think it was Kamigawa Collector Box. I could be wrong on this. It was one of those nice like collector things where you could get a better deal on Amazon pre-order. And you pre-ordered, and guess what? Half of the orders just got canceled.
What?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
That happened. Because it's all individual dealers, you know? It's all like randomized people. Yes, it's through the official Magic site, but you don't know where the actual decks are coming from, and they aren't tracking like inventory the way they do with a product that's in sale. Pre-ordered is just like BS. So a lot of people didn't get. I don't recall which set it was. I think it was Kamigawa Collector Box. It was something like that, where it like spiked in price before it like sold.
Yeah.
And like half the people just never got them. They just got order just got canceled on them. So,
well, then
while this
I
says
will.
It's $541. I don't know that I trust that you're going to get it. You know?
Yeah, but then if that doesn't happen, I'm not paying $700. So
I mean, that's fair.
Then I would just buy the regular versions.
Yeah, that's fair. And if you put your order in a while ago, you probably will get it because they probably just go and queue order, but they'll just take the orders infinitely.
Right.
Until release day, and they're like, "Oh, whoops, we only have half as many as we need." Oh well.
Oh well. Cancel them.
Yeah, too bad for those guys. So yeah, that's just the Amazon thing.
I hope it goes through because I am really excited for these decks.
You got the collector ones?
Yep.
Are you gonna open them?
Yes.
Oh my god, that hurts my soul. I would not open those if I were you. Buy the deck you want to play, and I'll buy my deck so you don't have to buy a deck for me. Keep the collector sealed.
Why?
Because it's a collector item and it should be sealed.
There's nothing random in it.
Doesn't matter. They're worth more sealed.
Is it? I want to. So there's content. We're gonna film John's reaction to me opening these boxes and then double sleeving them.
Double sleeving them and then playing with them.
And
they're going to be horrible to play with because like half of them are foil.
They're all foil. It is 100% foil.
That's good, at least.
And it's a new foil. It's a new foil.
Yeah,
it's a new foil, so it may not Pringle. It may not Pringle. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying it won't Pringle. What I'm saying is it's a new version. It's the first time. I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah, no.
And if I double sleeve it, I'm going to get those like fancy ones that like tuck around the card.
Yeah, that would probably hold them in good shape for
a while,
at least.
Like, so I'm going to treat them right. And I honestly don't think with these that the difference between the sealed deck and the cards themselves is going to be that much of a difference. I think the cards individually.
It'll definitely be.
I think the cards individually, if you sold the cards individually, will be worth more than the box.
I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see. Because you gotta remember.
Because there's a lot of unique cards in here. And how are they going to reprint exact function?
They're not that unique, though. That's the thing. Because you have the completely printed to oblivion version of it that has the same cards. They're just not foil.
Right.
So I don't see it as being that much of a difference. But you could be right. Like, I'm willing to say there's a possibility that you are thinking about it the right way. A sealed product is always going to be worth more because you can resell it.
Sure. So, and I can sell singles.
We'll see.
What?
Either way, you're going to play with it. So
absolutely. I don't plan on selling it. This is a product that I plan on having for me to play.
I can't believe you're playing with the collector. That hurts.
It's going to be so boss to play with. It's going to be so much fun.
I might have to buy this just to put it on my shelf to make up for your abuse of your
No, it's going to be fun.
I definitely wasn't going to buy this, and now I'm like, oh, God, someone's playing with it.
Yes, of course. That's what you do. They are
A
cardboard.
collector edition. You don't
So?
play with collector
But there's
editions.
nothing random about it. There's not even like a pack inside that's like, oh, get a random other
We
thing.
don't know that, do we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, did they say specifically there's no packs? Because
Yeah.
the last Commander like products for the past like 5 or 6 sets have all had packs.
Each deck comes with 1 Surge Foil Display Commander, 10 Surge Foil tokens, and 1 Life Tracker and 1 deck box.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense, right? Because what would be in that pack?
Right.
There's no other Warhammer cards that you can randomize, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ugh, that makes me sad. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is this going to crash? So this is the only thing in Magic that's holding up. What does that mean?
It means that people from Warhammer are interested, and people with Warhammer are used to spending a lot of money on their hobbies.
Yeah, that's true. I'll agree with that. It also means that
and this may be the one and only product that they buy for Magic.
So
and
here's the one.
They're doing what I'm doing and not taking the card decks apart and just keeping them all together and having them play.
Which I hope they play really well. I really do.
It
would be real good if they do, right?
Yeah.
It would be a really fun game experience.
Yeah, it's just you keep it as like that's the game.
Yeah. I'm 1,000%.
And then think about it. They do this with all these different Universe Beyonds, and then you have all these different ways of playing Commander Night.
So here's what Kitchen Table was saying the other day, and this was worth listening to because they're the ones that were like, yeah, collector editions, people are not getting them, the LGSs. So what they were saying is maybe for Universe Beyond, for things like Warhammer, where it's like an LGS isn't really the place, to buy Warhammer stuff, because typically they aren't. Ours is, but not all of them are.
A lot of them are.
Oh, I disagree. I've definitely been to a lot of stores that don't have Warhammer stuff in them, that have card games and other stuff, board games, things like that. But either way, point being is that it's not exactly the ideal market. What they're saying is Magic is betting, or WotC is betting, that Amazon is the right channel to reach the markets, right, that are outside of the Magic world. Because obviously these cards aren't for the Magic players, because a lot of Magic players hate the fact that they're bringing Warhammer in.
Right. In Universe Beyond in general.
So they're thinking maybe collectors, they stocked up Jeffy B.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe, so maybe this isn't that hard to come by. It just is for LGSs, because LGSs aren't where they think they're going to sell the most.
Right.
So we'll see how this plans out. I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this one plays out, because I am intrigued by the whole experiment. I just wish WotC would give us data, like real information after that.
Why would they do that?
Like, tell us print run, tell us something, give us something to go on, so we can like look at this and say, how did this work? Is this cool? Is this the way it should go? Because I'm actually okay with this idea. If Universe Beyond is like always through Amazon and it's kind of a throw out into the world product and see what sticks, I kind of like it as an experimental channel to see if you can pull more people into Magic through these other themes. It also keeps it separate from my Magic world that I like. You know what I mean?
It absolutely will.
Which I kind of...
It teaches people it teaches other people the game and how to play.
Yeah, and then they can come in and join my world instead of getting their dirty grubs on my world with your weird bolters and Magic.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter.
It's going to be a blast.
I am actually really excited about this set. Like, I am excited to play this set, but that's what I always do with Commander decks.
Commander's a lot of fun.
This structure to do it this way, so we'll see.
The Lord of the Rings, can you imagine if they have Commander deck, if they have collector decks?
So, from what I'm understanding, everyone is now terrified for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I bet. If Warhammer's doing this, what's Lord of the Rings?
No, I think people don't think this is going to go well, this Warhammer thing.
Really?
And they think it's going to poison the well for Lord of the Rings. That's what people are saying. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what data that's on, but people are concerned that this Warhammer thing, because it's not very the collector's box is basically impossible to get for a lot of people, and then the other ones are printed to oblivion. They're worried they're going to crash out, even though the prices are pretty high. Because think about it, they're more expensive than your average collector commander set. So shops may get burned by this, etc.
Sure.
And if that happens, then no one's buying Lord of the Rings, because they'll probably do the same thing with it, right?
Right, which would be great for me because I'm buying it no matter what, and then I can just buy it for cheaper.
What are the armies?
What?
Saruman. Sauron,
Gondor, Rohan,
Gondor, Rohan. You think that's
Men
how
of the
they'll do it?
East. Dwarves. There's so many different ones that they could do.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think because it's Lord of the Rings, right? It's not Middle Earth, right? It's Lord of the Rings specifically.
I think it's yeah.
Because if it's Lord of the Rings, then yeah, it wouldn't be the dwarves per se because they're not really in that.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, and then it has a subtitle, Tales of Middle Earth.
Okay, okay. Well, then it could be anything.
Yep.
Oh, you know what I bet? I bet it's man and elf. Duh. Of course it's elf.
Yeah, there's gonna be elves. There's gonna be dwarves.
They have to have an elf army. I don't think they'll have a dwarf army. There's no dwarves in Lord of the Rings, really.
There's no dwarves in Lord of the Rings.
Mm-mm. They weren't one of the 5 armies. That was the
5 armies
Hobbit.
is the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are dwarves in Lord of the Rings.
There are a few dwarves. There are no dwarven armies.
Doesn't matter. They can make one.
We can make it up. Oh God, that will piss off all the Lord of the Rings fans.
No, they can just have
dwarves in this freaking show. You think they're gonna allow a dwarven army in a Lord of the Rings setting?
No, it's just why not? Like what? I don't see
you can have Gimli.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the only dwarf in Lord of the Rings.
It's Tales of Middle Earth, though, so dwarves are part of Middle Earth.
Talking about like a long time span, like if it's supposedly going back 1,000 years, then dwarves. But the dwarves are really unengaged by the point of Lord of the Rings.
That's fine. They're still there.
They're not. They're not in the big fights.
No, but they're still on Middle Earth.
I suppose that's true. So how many armies are there going to be on?
I don't know. They haven't released anything. It's all speculation.
Yeah, it is all speculation. I'm curious
because it's not armies. You just need commanders. You just do commanders. You have a Gandalf commander. You have a
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He's got to be commander of the humans, right?
He's like blue-white. He's blue-white.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he's blue-white.
Broken blue-white. I love it.
Because he's not going to be red. Maybe he's blue-white-green.
And then you have elves. You have to have white-green?
Yeah.
You have the one elves and then you have the wood elves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and then you have the Uruk-hai.
The enemies, the Uruk-hai.
You have
the goblins. Maybe?
Yeah, so Mordor would be Rakdos, and then Uruk-hai would be
white black because Saruman.
Yeah, white black probably.
That's a lot of white though. So 3 things with white.
Yeah. Maybe red, green. No, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be hard. But yeah, it is. There's overlapping.
It's gonna look like
What?
All right. Well, maybe it does have dwarves. Maybe there's 5 decks or something.
Absolutely, there's gonna be some dwarves.
I think there will be some dwarves. I think you'll get a Gimli card.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there won't be any dwarves in any of the decks. I'm saying they will be not the theme. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Could have some interesting Planeswalker cards.
Yeah. Do we know? Is Gandalf going to be a Planeswalker? He should be.
He should be. I don't know.
We don't know.
He's on the cover art for it, but
but
we don't really have that much
mechanics yet. Yeah, because of all the characters in Middle Earth, he is one that walks planes. He actually was on multiple planes during the story, so I think he qualifies.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Warhammer goes well.
Or it doesn't, and then I get to save a bunch of money on Lord of the Rings, I guess.
No, because you want
Is that how it works?
To do well, don't you?
Long term, it's going to no matter what.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. It is Lord of the Rings.
It's Lord of the Rings.
I would bet on Lord of the Rings over Warhammer all day long.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. It'd probably do fine.
And the draft is going to be great because it doesn't matter how good it is because it's just within itself.
Do you think people are going to be pissed about the art?
Why?
Because a lot of the modern Lord of the Rings fans are just movie fans. You know what I mean?
So
if it's not
if you're Magic and a Lord of the Rings, if you like Magic and Lord of the Rings, you're not a Lord of the Rings movie fan, I don't think.
I don't know. Maybe that's true. That could be true. I feel like we're approaching a moment of MCU versus comic books. You know how people are super fans of the movies but don't really know the comic books, and there's
Sure.
kind of like a little rift there. I think that's what's going to happen with this a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, the art's good. It's good.
The previews that I've seen, I'm hyped.
Yeah, I like the art too, but I also liked Lord of the Rings long before there was a movie.
No, yeah. No, when I was growing up, we would watch the cartoon. No, there was the
Hobbit, the 70s.
yeah,
Hobbit.
the 70s.
Oh,
there was a
man,
movie
that was
before.
so good.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about the modern movie.
Oh yeah. Where there's a whip, there's a way.
All right. Well, we can move on from this topic.
Can we?
How to navigate these unsets or whatever they're calling them? I don't know. That's the answer there. I have no idea.
I think honestly, I think Magic has become a cultural point enough that it doesn't, like, it's not going anywhere. So I think it really is going to base upon the IP.
Yeah.
But I think I honestly think the commander decks and the draft boxes might be the best way to, if there are draft boxes. But honestly, I think the commander decks are the best way to go, because you are attracting people who are first into the IP and then second into Magic. And so they are probably buying these decks to keep as a deck and not like get the cards and go CEDH.
Like, 100%. It's its own like little ecosystem.
And those people don't
casual and just fun.
Right. And those people aren't looking to go buy singles and bling out their deck and make it all crazy, spend all this money on singles. They just want to have a fun Magic experience in this IP that they enjoy.
That's right.
They want to play. They don't. Like, not even a Magic. They want to play a game in the IP that they enjoy.
Exactly.
It just happens that they already know the rules to this game.
Yeah.
And you can apply that to a lot of things.
I like it personally. I mean, I do. Show me some MCU decks. I'd love to do that.
That'd be wild. That'd be
like Dice Commander, but Magic instead. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's Marvel Champions.
What's that?
It's co-op, pre-built living card game from Marvel.
Ah, I don't think I know about that.
Yeah. We can dive into it. It seems cool. It's something I've been looking at for a while. You buy like a core box and it gives you a bunch of villain scenarios and 4 heroes. And then you buy the hero decks. And then they're like pre-constructed decks. And then you group up and you face different bosses. So you have like boss expansions and character expansions.
Pull it up on Fantasy Flight.
Yeah.
So there's a scenario like you work together to beat something?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
How many players?
There, I think 4.
Oh yeah, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. It's too few, but that's still fun.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I like about Dice Turn is just like 30 people. It's fine.
Yeah, and then the beautiful thing about Champions is like you don't have to go crazy and like open packs. You buy a box, you buy a thing, open it, and you can just play with it.
Self-contained game.
Yeah.
Love that.
And it's, co-op. It's like kind of like what we've been waiting for with. It's kind of what I hope PvE for Flesh and Blood is like.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So getting to play that early, I guess, earlier than I was expecting. Just a game like that, you know what I mean? Just to fill that, because not everyone likes playing competitive games, and I just like playing games. I don't particularly care if it's competitive or cooperative. But
I like playing games.
Exactly.
I do not have many limits or outlines on that statement. Like whatever.
Exactly. So being able to play games more often by having multiple types of games that work with multiple people's play styles.
Yep.
So that you can always be playing games.
Always gaming.
Speaking of always gaming, I have just found out that Slay the Spire is out on mobile, and I've lost a lot of time.
I was because it's been out on mobile for a while now.
I know, but I finally took the plunge and got it.
Mm-hmm.
And may or may not have been a mistake. We'll see.
And there goes your life.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. No, it's not like an all the time thing. It's just when I'm sitting down, that's what I'm doing, I guess. But Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Anything you've been doing?
Did you want to chat about Fab Online and Talishar and just the whole thing there?
Sure.
Like, it definitely seems to be the hotness. Everyone's talking about it now. Even the people that said no before are now playing on it as way to practice when they
Uh-huh.
can. Clearly, it is infringing upon an IP.
Absolutely, it is.
Even if they change their name, that does not prevent it from
No.
infringing on IP at all.
No.
It's loved by the community. I mean,
Yes.
what do we think is going to happen here?
I mean, of course it's loved by the community. It's completely free, and you get to play with all the cards that you didn't have to pay any money for.
Yeah.
Of course it's
Yeah.
loved, and you can just queue with somebody. You don't need to go to a shop.
How many people do you think are playing this that don't own cards at all? Like, aren't interested in buying cards?
I don't think it's the majority, but I think
I
it's
don't think it's many yet, but
but I
it's also
think
just starting, you know?
right. I think as it gets out there and becomes more popular because all of these content creators are now covering it, it will grow, and then there will be a lot of people that are just playing online. As these content creators grow and introduce more people to Flesh and Blood and are introducing them to this free way to play.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I went from Arena to in-shop.
Yeah.
Like with Magic. That was my path. I was dead set. You probably remember. I was like,
Yeah.
I will never buy cardboard. Why would I buy cardboard? I'd have
Right.
to
I remember.
I'd have to own it. You know, I'd have to deal with it, and I'd have to sort it, and I'd have to make the decks. And I was like, never. Why would I ever do that?
And
then
now
sure
it's
enough,
all you do.
yeah, exactly. Sure enough, I went to a shop and I had a blast drafting with real people.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is kind of like after the first big wave of COVID, so it's like, oh, I can get back out again, sort of thing. So
Right.
it was partially that, but the point being is that even though I was dead set digital, it ended up being an entry point to me buying cards. So does Talishar achieve the same thing for those that just can't quite afford the decks they want?
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Someday I can have that fancy deck that I've been playing with online. Does that do it?
No,
I'm asking. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it should be taken down. I'm not saying, oh, it's not fair. I paid for these cards. They should have to pay for that. That is silly. I think it's more so that it is not an official product. It is not something like if I feel like if LSS wanted something like this, they would have something like this.
Probably not.
No?
They're not developers. It's a totally different skill set to make an online functional game engine.
But then, no, they would have someone make it then if they were interested in having something like this.
That's expensive. It's not the easy.
Well, sure. No, I know it's not. But I'm just saying it's, I don't know. I've been playing Arena again and been enjoying it. But it's just a lot more enjoyable experience, I think, than like of playing games. I would much prefer play on Arena than Talishar, even though I enjoy the game of Flesh and Blood more than Magic.
Oh, sure.
Like if I had to choose between booting up Arena and Talishar, which I do, I choose Arena because I just don't enjoy the usability of Talishar.
I'm not sure that matters so much, though.
No, this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
So if I'm LSS, I look at this and I say, okay, this is probably bringing more people into my game right now, right? Because I know, like I said, Arena helped me feel ready to go draft, and so I was comfortable to actually go to a real shop and play in person because I felt like I knew what I was doing. At least had an idea, right? Like I wasn't completely helpless. So it definitely served as an on-ramp to cardboard. Right. I think this will do the same thing ultimately for now. But do they let it continue? Do they force it to shut down? Do they say we'll buy you for a nominal price or shut you down? You know?
Right.
And then keep it open and maybe make some sort of more tie-in to what they're doing. I don't know.
Or do they just decide that maybe we do make a digital client?
I can't see them ever deciding to do that. You know what I mean? Like just actively saying we're gonna make a digital client. Like that just doesn't seem like them. It's
Never.
so against the
Never.
ethos. But at some point, you have to deal with the fact that someone's using your IP.
Right, exactly.
Granted, they're not making money off of it.
Right.
So all you could do is cease and desist, I think. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think they can like sue them because they didn't make anything off of it, right?
Right.
It's just a fan project at this point.
They are taking donations.
Oh, are they? Okay, well then never mind. Oh, that's right, and they have a Patreon, so they are getting like a monthly payment. Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, they can totally shut them down that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It exists.
I mean,
I really enjoy it. I'll be honest. I wouldn't play Fab as much without it.
Right, and no, I
feel like I can go to the shop. Like having not been to the shop for so long.
Right.
Like with this, I still feel like okay, I'm sharp enough to play. Like I can play in person.
Right.
Because I have this. So when I'm ready and when I have the time, I will go.
Right. I think it's just
my schedule doesn't work around once a week.
That's fair. I know.
It's so rough. That's my only option, though.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is I used to be against the digital client, and now I kind of want a digital client. If that makes sense.
A good one.
I want a good one.
You want an arena style one.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people hate arena.
I want to be able to play on my phone, on my iPad. I don't know. And then keep it cheap. Like do it different than arena, like a different payment style where you have all the Blitz starter decks in there for free. Like you download the app and you can start playing, and then you create an account and you start with all those starter decks. So you can instantly start playing with your friends for free. And then you can buy packs, or you can, I don't know, just do it. I'm trying to think. I had where basically you could pay like a premium, like you pay $10 a month, and then you just have access to all the cards like Talishar. Where it's not like you need all the cards. What?
Yeah. I said that'd be a pretty good idea, like a subscription model with some sort of kicker. You got to have a pack kicker to some degree, but
yeah, no, you do. You have
maybe it's codes as part of the armory kits.
Yeah, or foils.
You get packs on the game if you win at your armory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or foils or whatever, or extended art.
Yeah. That's a lot of work, though. Like, it's a lot of work to keep up with that. Although they're not at as crazy a pace as Magic, so I think it's, like, doable.
But you have that consistent subscription money.
That's true. And that would help pay for itself. I don't know. How many Fab players do we think there are?
How many would there be if there was a mobile app?
Active ones, though.
Active Fab players?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it is shocking diving back into the Magic world and just realizing how small the Flesh and Blood world is.
Oh, it's
in comparison.
It's so tiny, yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's a great game, and it will continue to grow, and it is definitely going to carve out a spot for itself in the world. But
absolutely,
I mean, Digimon's still bigger.
Really? Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. And
that's surprising.
It's really popular with the younger crowd that wants like that simple gameplay.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure that's the third biggest.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm mixing it up. Maybe
Yu-Gi-Oh? You mean Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Digimon, I was like, I don't think so, Joe.
I don't know.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry. Digimon isn't really a game, is it?
It is. It is.
It is, but it's not like a big one.
No.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is bigger. That's what I'm saying. So, and I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! To me is something that's so on the periphery of my mind that I clearly don't even know its name.
When I'm on TCG Player, I won't lie, I will, like when a new set comes out, I'll filter through and look at all the card art. Because I used to play in middle school.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. When I was like real little, I played Pokemon. I actually played, like we would play with those cards on the pavement that are now worth thousands of dollars. And then we switched to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because like that's when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out. when I was in middle school.
It's hotness, the new hotness.
Yeah, and all the older kids were playing it, so that's what we played. And then we got really good at it. But then again, we're paying, like, if you look at those old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, there's some money there. And
God,
we
they're
were
ugly.
I know.
God, they are ugly.
I know, John. I know. But we were playing with them sleeveless, just on pavement.
Wow, yeah, there are some really pricey cards here.
Yeah. Yeah, like I had the Dark Magician, Blue Eyes. I had all of Exodia pieces. Yeah, I don't want to think about it. But yeah, that is a much larger game. But not nearly as fun.
Yeah,
I've even downloaded.
I think Fab will get there for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gonna be in that top tier. It's just time. Time and exposure and casual format.
Yeah.
Like that's a big factor.
I think PvE is going to be huge.
Yeah, that you can't just sit down and play very easily with random people and get people into it. Although I advocate for this. They don't, but I do. Those pre-con decks are freaking fun to just sit and play. I know they're not a perfect game. They're certainly not optimized, but sitting down at Ren Fair and playing it with my buddies in a tavern with a drink is a blast. And you get about a dozen people an hour coming up to you saying, "What the heck are you playing?" And then you explain it to them. They're like, "That sounds really cool. I'm going to go check it out." And it's like, yeah, it's like
numbers grow.
A lot better.
Just starting adding people to the community.
Yep. Get them into it.
Preach the good word of Flesh and Blood and Ren Fairs.
I mean, I like Magic. Don't get me wrong. I'm never going to stop liking Magic, but Flesh and Blood deserves its spot too, you know?
Maybe I'll bring I'm going to Ren Fair next weekend. So I will probably maybe bring which ones did you bring? The Uprising ones?
No, last time it was Monarchs.
I'll probably just bring.
This year,
Maybe I'll do the Tails or Uprising.
Yeah, or actually, I did just get the Tails because I got that TCG kit with the Crown of Seeds mat.
Oh yeah.
And they had those in it. It also had 2 Ira decks in it, which I didn't realize.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 2 2020 printings. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I have one of those.
They're probably not worth anything because
no, they can't. They can't sell them.
Yeah. Oh, they're not allowed to sell them.
They're not allowed to sell them.
Interesting.
No, they're like supposed to be given away. Like it's one of those things where if you go to the counter and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in learning about Flesh and Blood," it's something that LSS just gives people.
Yeah, but TCG player doesn't have a counter, so why do they even have them?
What TCG? It was a deal through TCG player.
Yeah, it was part of the TCG player kit. It was like I don't know what they called it.
Or was it
like
that SGC?
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
SGC runs events.
It was SGC. Yeah, you're right. That's what it was. That's right. See, this is why you don't.
You're welcome, John. Don't listen to John.
Just join the Discord, then you'll know.
Only listen to John in videos where Tommy is listening because he will correct him.
That's right. That's right. I got the link. I got it from one of the people in our Discord. I clicked it. I was like,
I clicked the link in the Discord.
And I bought it. And that's it. All right. So join the Discord so you actually know what I'm talking about because clearly I don't.
Yeah, we talk about deals in the Discord. Not that they're financial advice, but we do talk about deals.
No. Every time there was a min-max game had a 10% store credit for purchases over the weekend. And people were like, oh, yeah, I was just going to buy this and this. So I'll just buy it through there and get that. And they're great. I've bought from them before. I have no problem talking about that.
Yeah, I've only had good experiences with them.
That time when all the boxes were delayed because of that giant snowstorm or whatever.
Yeah.
I got mine on time through them. I was like, yes. It was one of the few places I actually got them on time.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways.
I think we've rambled a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting market. It's very weird.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on.
Anything you want to shout out that you have your eyes on for the people that have made it this far in the podcast?
Ooh, good question. No, really, it's just
no. Good question. No.
No, those collector boxes. I want to see what the heck happens with them for the Warhammer.
Yep.
Like that's my biggest what's gonna happen. Like that's what I'm actually watching the closest because depending on what happens,
it's a domino effect.
It sets the tone for all these other out of the world sets. You know.
Yeah.
So
I think it's gonna go really far one way or another.
Exactly.
Like it could be $1,000 for the boxes of 4, or you could tell me it's 200.
Yep. so that's what I'm watching closest. Other than that, everything is just getting cheaper and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. So I'm just going to keep buying things.
Yeah.
do the steady purchase. Don't try to time the bottom. Just buy every
No.
week. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Draft boxes before they're gone, before they go away. Get draft boxes.
I tend to get set boxes. I just like them better.
But I feel like draft boxes are an experience.
You can do the same experience with set boxes.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not exactly the same, but you just take an extra pack or whatever. It's doable. It's not that big of a difference, and you get the extra stuff. So.
Oh, you just draft with set boxes?
Draft the set boxes, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. I guess you could, theoretically.
People do it. And you get better art and you get better cards.
It's true. But they're also the most expensive box.
Well, yeah, right now they are. The older stuff, they were more closely related in price.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It was like 85 and 90,
right.
Not 92 and 120 or whatever, because draft drops off a cliff anymore.
Right. All right. Well, I think until next week, we will catch you guys later.
Have a good one.